Hi, how are you, Miss Sandra and Miss Dee Dee? I'm sitting here like, I don't know how to get in here. I'm so sorry, you guys, but I hope you guys are doing well today. I have never used my laptop. I don't use my laptop for anything. And today I said, I don't know how to do this from my phone without it getting interrupted in case somebody calls. So I decided to try my laptop. I don't know how well you guys can see me. I hope it's clear enough. Can you hear me? Or can you hear me? I mean, can you hear me or see me? Oh my goodness, I'm such a nerd. Let me see. Let me see if I could see myself in my own stream here. Just to make sure I can actually see. Stream here. Okay, yes, I can. And I will say it looks much better on my phone than it does on my computer. So hi, Jerlene. Hi, Miss Sandra. I already told you hi, but I'm going to tell you again. And hello again, Miss Dee Dee. Okay, so I also decided that I would try StreamYard, and I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to use it. So I hope that it's, well, I can see your comments at least. So hi. You guys, I asked if you guys have any questions, and some of you guys really had a lot. And look at, I was curling my eyelashes right before because I said they keep going into my eye, and I forgot, and I only did one because I got so distracted. Look, I have ADHD, okay? And I'm not kidding when I tell you, but look, only one is half curled and the other one isn't. So give me 1 second to at least try to get these eyelashes out of my eye. I do not have my contacts in, so I can see up close. So yay. Because I figured if I put my contacts in and I will be able to see far, but I can't see up close. And what good will that do me if I'm trying to look into my computer, which is very close to me? Hello, Miss Alonda. How are you? Good morning. You guys don't understand. Remember, I work nights now, so I don't go to bed till like 4 in the morning. So to get up and be up by 10 o'clock, like be up and like awake in my head, took a lot. But I said, I'm going to do the best I can because I really need to start doing something a little different. And for the month of April, this is what we're trying. We are trying to post a video on Monday, a video on Wednesday, which are the weigh-ins, and then do a live on Saturday. And I thought Saturday would be the best day because Dave is usually at work. However, we got rained out, so he's home. He's actually in the spare bedroom right now, taking a nap. I don't know why he's taking a nap when we literally just got up. He got up like 10 minutes before me. I was like, okay. So before I start getting into the questions that were asked a few days ago, do any of you guys that are here now have any questions that you guys would like to ask? It could be anything. It doesn't have to be weight loss related. It can be, I don't know, Delilah related. It could be Fort Worth related. It could be, I mean, I'm not from Texas, so it could be about California. I'm a NorCal girl, born and raised in a city called Salinas. If you guys have never heard of it, you really should look it up because it is a gorgeous place. Can you guys hear me? Hold on. Let me see if I can hear me. Can you guys hear me? Oh, okay. That's a big echo. Yes, I can hear me. So I hope you guys. Hi, Miss L. How are you? Oh, I love the purple heart. You already know purple is my favorite color. You guys, I'm such a dingbat. I also forgot to take my thyroid med. So let's do it now. Good thing, I don't know why I brought it with. I must have brought it with me thinking, oh, let me take it before I start. And then I just got distracted because I don't know. I'm so distracted easily. I'm telling you, ADHD is real. Alonda, I know you know what I'm talking about because you were just talking about that yesterday. And yeah. So, Miss L, I know you had some questions. Do you want to ask them here in the comments, or do you want me just to go over back to the original post and read the, hi, Miss Nydia, Miss Amiga, how are you? So I was just asking if anybody has any questions they would like me to go over now before I go into the questions that were asked the other day, which also reminds me, do you guys remember, this was a while ago already, this bracelet? I bought a bunch of these bracelets because I love them and I think they're just so cute because they glow in the dark. They're just so cute. And I bought them thinking in my head, oh, this would be a perfect gift for some of you who also like stuff that glows in the dark. And this bracelet, okay, you guys, I don't have as much hair as I once did, but I do have hair. And look, it is silicone, but it doesn't get stuck in my hair. That is very, very important for those of you who have problems like I do with things getting stuck in your hair, and it doesn't pull your hair out. So I bought these because I wanted to share them with you, and it would be like our friendship bracelet, and it was so exciting to me. And I was able to send out some of them to some of you. But if you are interested, because I do still have some, I have a medium and I have a large size. The large is, I think, 8 inches. I think the large is 8 inches and the medium is 7 inches. Don't quote me. I'm going to find the sizes. I'm going to let you guys know. Miss Sandra, I saw that. Please send me an email, you guys, so that I can, my email is always listed in the description so that you can reach out to me for anything if you ever have any questions that I didn't go over, or if I confused you by saying something that wasn't understandable, because I know that a lot of times I don't make sense. But please send me an email and I will get that out to you. I just thought it was the freaking cutest thing ever. It looks white, like kind of like a cleary white color, like normally, but it glows in the dark. So please send me an email address with an email address. Please send me an email and I will, with your address, and I will get it out to you in the mail ASAP. So Miss Alonda, you said you wanted one, but I still haven't gotten your address. So if you are still interested, please send me an email and I will get that out to you ASAP. I believe I had asked what your summer plans are. Yes, Miss L, you did. You asked me what my summer plans are, and the honest to God truth is I do not have any. I'm pretty boring, in case you guys haven't noticed. I know I talk about this all the time. I do work for an airline, and yes, please send it now before we all forget. I really, really, really want to get these out to you guys because that's why I bought them. Honestly, I bought them with you in mind. I said, you know, a lot of people are going to have the same type of like that I do, I guess. And I said, hey, if anybody is interested, I would love to have this sort of tangible memory or like reminder, memento between us that you guys know that I really, really, thank you, Dee Dee. Oh, I appreciate it. She said that I'm beautiful. I'm so shiny. I really did. I woke up, first thing I did, brush my teeth, wash my face, and then I did my morning skincare. So my morning skincare is like the easiest one ever. All I do is wash my face, and then I put on my Centella serum, and then I let that dry for a second, and then I put on my vitamin C serum, and then I let that dry for a second, and then I put on my moisturizer, and that's it. Well, if I'm going to go outside, I will also put on my sunblock, but I'm not going anywhere, at least not yet. So I haven't put it on, but I'm still very shiny. I even had to turn off the other light. And in this camera, this looks really blurry. The light up here looks really blurry, and the light that's shining on the candle looks really blurry. I have no idea whether or not you guys can see it clearly, but I don't know. I need the light, I guess. So I had to even turn off the light with the fan on my ceiling because it wouldn't stop. So I do work for an airline. And the reason why I work for an airline was because I wanted to be able to travel. And at that time, I was also on a weight loss journey, and I had lost a lot of weight. I was down to 235 pounds, which was my lowest adult weight ever. And then David and I were going to the gym regularly. We were doing like all these cool things. Thank you. I will check the emails as soon as I'm done with this, and I will get those out to you guys today, Saturday. So I could send it today, but I don't think the post office will be open by the time I'm done here. Did you get a mochi container? No, not yet. I don't know why I want one so bad, but I do. So I was able to travel like a normal person, because when you're 300 plus pounds, it's very, very difficult. And I know some of you guys have been my size and you guys understand that it's not easy. It causes a lot of like extra stress that normal sized people don't tend to get because they are not um, thinking about, oh my God, I have to get on. I'm going to have to ask for a seatbelt extender. And I know that you can purchase a seatbelt extender and take it with you. However, they are not FAA approved. So you are not technically allowed to bring your own seatbelt extender, especially because different aircrafts have different seatbelts. Most of them are the same, but they're not all the same. So it is very important for your own safety, not even just like for the peace of mind, because the peace of mind comes when you don't have to ask. I get that. But for your own personal safety, please do not use your own seatbelt extender. Ask for one when you get on board. The flight attendants are trained to be as discreet as possible when they hand you over the seatbelt extender. I know some of them are a lot less discreet than others, but for the most part, they are very good at being able to come and find you. Like, as soon as I get on board, you walk past sometimes 2 or 3 flight attendants in the front of the plane, and I just tell them, excuse me, can I please get a seatbelt extender as soon as you have a chance? They will ask me my seat number, or they will tell me, I will come find you. Yes. Sometimes they're able to just pull it out of their pocket and hand it to me there. And I just put it in my pocket and go on with my day, right? Go back to my seat, put it on. But at that size, I didn't even think about it. I asked for one and I didn't need it. And I was like, okay. So we were traveling a lot. Well, I was traveling a lot more then. And then I had some issues happen and I ended up falling into a really bad mental place, and I gained back every single pound I had lost, plus another like 150 pounds. And I gained it all back within, it was about a year to maybe 18 months. And I was like, okay. And then this time around, with COVID and all of that, I got really sick. And since then, I've been sick over and over and over again. And yes, I will absolutely look at that. Ms. Alonda, thank you so much. I appreciate it. So now that we are here and we are back to getting my mind back in order so that my physical health can also come into play, I have some plans to travel, but I don't know that it's going to be this summer because last year was really hard financially, like really hard because I did not work for the most part of the year. Most of you guys were there with me when I was really sick and just home for the better part of the year. I would say that I missed about 6 months, maybe 7 months of work. And I didn't know when I moved to Texas because I come from California where we have state disability insurance, which means you pay into that every single paycheck. And when you get sick, you go on to state disability and they pay you. But I didn't know that wasn't something that they offered here, and you had to pay into it like when you first come into the company. And if you deny it the first time, they will never give it to you the second time. Well, at least my company. And I had only had like 1 month from the month my insurance started to the new month. And I didn't know that. And somebody told me after. And so I was like, so I don't get paid. When I was off of work, there was no money coming in. So I used the crap out of my insurance, my savings. So I ended up with absolutely zero savings left by the beginning of this year. When I went back to work, it was really like hard because, it was really great because I knew that I would be able to start replenishing that savings and start catching up on all the things that I wasn't able to do before that. But so this summer, we don't have very many plans, but we do plan to go. Originally, we were going to go to Italy for my mother's 60th birthday and David's 45th birthday. They share a birthday. They're both February babies. And we were going to go to Italy. But some of you guys seen my video where I explained to you why I have it is a really long time to go without income. Luckily, David works and, he was still working for the most part. And we were able to make ends meet by, thank God, thank you, Jesus, that I had a savings. If I didn't have a savings, I don't know what would have happened. But we were able to utilize his paychecks and my savings to the best of our ability. And we were able to get through it all without ever getting a foreclosure notice, without ever getting a 48-hour notice. So that was really great. But I'm spending this year trying to replenish that savings plus save for our family trip. We figured out that my mom's not going to be able to do Italy during February because of her metal plate in her head. She doesn't do well in extreme temperatures, one way or the other, whether it's too cold or too hot. So we have decided that we were going to look to do something else instead. So we're no longer going to go to Italy, but that's fine because it's cheaper for me, right? So we're looking at going to the Dominican Republic. We're going to probably split our trip in two. My mom wants to do a cruise. So we're looking at doing a cruise for a few days and then going to the Dominican Republic and do an all-inclusive trip. The last time my brother went to the Dominican Republic, he was able to do an all-inclusive trip. He was there for, I think, 4 days and 5 nights, or was it 3 days and 4 nights? It was one of those. And he paid like $400 for the whole time he was there. He was like, my brother doesn't drink. And he was like, I did anything and everything except drink, which was also included. So it didn't really matter. But we did all of these excursions. We did all of these crazy things. We ate like kings, and it was only a few $100s. So for me and David, it would be less than $1,000. And so we're saving to do that. And then, of course, we'll have to pay for the cruise. And, I just remembered that I did not do my, this is my prophylactic inhaler for those of you who also suffer with asthma and move to a state that has incredible freaking pollen every year that tries to murder you. If you also suffer with the asthma that is like exacerbated by like nature, I guess, by allergies. This is the Trelegy. This is the one that I was trying to get my doctor to switch me over to, but I kept forgetting. I finally remembered this visit. So I did get to switch over to this, and now my $30 copay is $0. So yay for manufacturer coupons. But I did forget to take it today. So I will show you how to do it because it's weird. So this is a prophylactic that you take every single day, and it's never to replace a rescue inhaler. Please always know that you need a rescue inhaler just in case. But this one, you just take it daily. So I open it just a little bit, but I am paranoid that if I open it too much, it's going to send the meds out. So, and then you just put your mouth around it. I don't know if you guys caught that, but as I was trying to talk, half of it came out. So it's just like a puff of air, and it tastes really gross, but it goes away fast. So yes, yay for cheaper meds. Yay, we love $0 copays, right? So we do plan to do some traveling next year, but we don't have very many plans this year. Me and David do want to do some like local road trips. And we're planning to start a channel about our travel. So I wanted to wait until excuse me. I wanted to wait until we had a few trips under our belts before we started. For those of you who live in Texas or anywhere that there's an HEB, which I think is only in Texas, this is the HEB brand of their Topo Chico. This is called 1877 mineral water. David got one in the flavor of mango, and you could tell it's been out for a while because it's very wet. The condensation is a little insane. Also, a little fun a little fun fact about me. Wherever we travel, I don't know how this started. I know when I went to Japan, I found a kitchen magnet that I really liked, and I just got it because I said, I have a bunch of crap. I don't need more crap, but I would like to have a memory of my trips. So I started out with just this little magnet that was like something of one of their shrines or something. And then the next trip I went on, me and David went together, and he found, I think we went to New Orleans, and he found an alligator that had a bottle opener, and he liked it. And then since then, we've always gotten magnets that are bottle openers for everywhere we go. This one's from Salt Lake City. And it's just, I don't know, it's cute. It's a little beer thing. I don't even drink beer. I hate beer, but I thought it was cute. So he liked it. You have great insurance. I wish I had great insurance. My insurance makes me pay $30 for that, but with the manufacturer coupon, it brings it down to $0. They will cover up to $35 of whatever my copay is. So it made it zero because mine was only $30. But I mean, $30 is still great because that stupid thing costs like $1,200 every month. Like, that's insane. I know people are always complaining about the price of GLP-1s, but let me tell you, all medication sucks. All medication prices are like ridiculously insane. And that is the name brand. I don't even know what I did with it, but that's the name brand one. And it costs $1,200 and like $32 or something a month. It's insane. And my insurance charges me $30. And luckily, they have a manufacturer coupon. So this is the HEB brand of Topo Chico. It's the first time I've ever had the mango flavor. But if there are no other questions here, I can go and read the questions from over there. I love your walking. Oh, Miss Sandra, I love your walking videos in the park. It is always fun to see what other cities have. Yeah, that is something that David and I try to do together, at least during the weekends, because during Monday through Friday, he leaves for work like at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. And when he gets home, I've already started work. Even though I work here, I've already started work. So we can't just go for a walk the same day. And then by the time I get off of work, he's already asleep. So we do try to make sure that we do it every weekend. And I do try to film them every once in a while. He's like, no, he wants to just have it be us. And I'm okay with that too. So I am trying to still like do the ones by myself. But since I hurt my back, 2 months ago, it feels like forever. I think it's been 2 months. I've been slacking on it, and I really need to get back to doing it daily because my back's never going to get better if I don't start moving it more often. I do agree, though. I love to see what other cities have, but it's not like we go to a lot of different parks. I want to try to find different ones. I think we've done so far 5 different areas. We've done the 2 parks here by us. The one we go to the most with the exercise equipment. And then we did the Trinity Trail walk. And it's so funny because that walk with the lake is right across the street from Trader Joe's. And so we go and park behind that. Is David your longest relationship? Getting nosy? No, actually he's not. He's getting close to it though. My longest relationship was with a guy when I was a kid. I was I think 18 when we met, and we were together for 8 years. 8 years, but on and off for 10. It was a long time. And he went into the military. His name was Brandon. And yeah, that one was an interesting relationship because he is half Mexican. His mom is Mexican, and his dad, I don't know, some sort of Hispanic, but I can't remember what his dad was. And his mom married another race, a lighter skinned race of us, and she does not like Mexicans. So she never wanted us to be together, and she would always be like, well, she's not allowed here, blah, 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 whatever, right? And one day when he was in the military, he had some girl who lived near them, in the town, over or something. So they did a road trip together to go over there. And his mom was all excited about her. And he's like, because she was a white girl. And she was like, oh, she could spend the night and she could. And he was like, what? And he ended up taking advantage of that. So yeah, so that's how we ended up not together. And fun fact, after he was cheating on me for a while, I didn't know this yet, but he was cheating on me for a while. He ended up getting a girl pregnant, and I found out about it, and I asked him about it, and he was like, no, blah, 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 whatever. And to this day, he ended up marrying her. They now have 4 kids. Now they're divorced. Yeah, they have 4 kids together. I'm like, okay, whatever. But David and I will actually, we're in April. So it will be 8 years in June for me and David. I watched the one where you had the turtles in the water. Oh yeah. That wasn't really a walking video though. I don't think. Maybe it was, because we used to live by a turtle park Well, it's not turtle park. It's just a park that had like a little like a little small waterfall, and they had turtles, and I loved it. Yes, bullet dodge for sure, Al, for sure. Because let me tell you, I would have married that dude like 100%, and I'm glad that I didn't because yeah, he was no good for me. Yeah, that one was. But the turtle park, I think that you're talking about is the teddy bear park, and I love the teddy bear park, but I mean, it's not super duper far, but it is kind of far. It's like an hour drive from us. It's in Dallas. It's in the Highland Park area of Dallas, and if you're aware of Dallas, that's like the rich area. And so it was like it's called the Teddy Bear Garden. Well, that little part of it is called the Teddy Bear Garden, and the Teddy Bear Garden, those statues, they like a private family paid to have them put there, and it was on their property, and they had it put there so that people could enjoy them because they thought that people would like them. And I agree with them because they're so cute. I love gigantic things and miniature things, miniature and gigantic, like my little tiny they're not tiny, but like these guys. Oops, sorry. My little Hello Kitties. I love these, and they're not tiny, like they're the size of my palm, but I just love them. I think they're so cute. And actually, this one is one of my favorites because I love the daisies. Daisies are my favorite flowers, and I just love their daisies and the bows. So they're just so cute. And then this one is my second favorite because it looks like the 80s, and I'm an 80s baby. So you know how that goes. Let's see. I feel like I know David. I do share a lot about our relationship. I really don't like. I don't feel like there is a lot of things that I wouldn't share, except I think I've talked about this on one of your lives, Didi. I do not share our problems with people ever. There's only one person that I talk to about our problems, and the only reason I talk to her is because she's my prayer partner. So I go to her to request that specific situation be spoken about, because not spoken to her about, but be addressed with the Lord about, because we need to address it and we need to be able to work through it. And if we can't do that through God, how can we do that? I don't know if that makes any sense, but congratulations. Wow, David seems so supportive of your journey. No, here's the thing. He is and he isn't. He does the best that he can with what he understands. And his biggest thing is that when I was really, really sick, he was very afraid all the time that I was going to die. And I won't lie, I was afraid of it too. I really, really thought that there was not a whole lot of options for me to recover from that. I'm about 4 hours away from Houston, Didi. So I think that really like made him understand that although this is not something that I like to talk about to him or to anybody in real life, really, which is why I started this channel, is because I'm very uncomfortable talking about my health and my weight with people. It's something that just triggers me, and I don't know why. It's always been like that, though. Like, I've always been that way. I don't like it when people talk about weight, and I don't talk about weight ever outside of this channel. Like, in real life, I will never bring it up, ever. And I don't like for people to bring it up to me. I don't know. It gives me some sort of like, I want to say like it's a PTSD response, because it really like, I really get extremely nervous and anxious, and I've gone into like full-blown panic attacks. And that's the way that I get when it comes to like loud sudden sounds. So I really think that it's like a PTSD response, but I've never really addressed it because it's kind of stupid to be like, oh, I have PTSD when people talk about that. And this is coming from somebody who really does have PTSD. So, but it is what it is. And that's just the way that I feel. So, Miss Nydia asks, how did you end up in Dallas? Did you move there from California for work? Yes and no. So when I was in California, I actually was dealing with double carpal tunnel, right? So I was undergoing like medical stuff for it, and I ended up getting a surgery on each of my hands to release that. And it was a work-related injury. So because of that, I knew that, plus I hated my job. I was really good at it. Like, I've always been really good at my jobs, no matter what they are. I adapt really well to like different work environments. But I was too involved. Like, they had me morning, noon, and night. Like, they really were just all the time, just all over me. And I didn't want to be stuck in that position anymore, but I knew that I wanted to move and I wanted to leave. Like, where I come from is a very small town. It's only 144,000 people, which I know sounds like a lot, right? But it is still a small town. I knew everybody. Anywhere and everywhere that you go, you run into somebody. Here, since I've lived here, I have never once seen a single soul that I know. Not like I know a lot of people, but when I used to live like 9 minutes away from the airport where I worked, even living there, I never ran into a single person that I worked with. And here in my hometown, I saw everybody all the time. And I just kind of felt like if I wanted a change, I needed to leave. And while I was going through workers' comp, I was out of work. Well, I was getting paid still because I was still employed, but I couldn't work. They didn't let me. So I was getting paid, and I was getting paid more than what I was when I was working, because I didn't have to pay my union dues. I didn't have to pay medical, and I didn't have to pay taxes. So I was only getting paid 60% of my regular income. It was still coming out more every single paycheck than what it was before that, because I didn't have to pay for any of those things. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to move. I don't know if it was like a manic thing that I went through, that I decided that I was going to move, but I decided I'm going to leave my house and I'm going to move, because here, the only thing that I ever do is take care of my little brother at that time, who that was 7 years ago. He's 23 now. So whatever 23 minus 7 was, like he was like 16 or something. And I was like, all I ever do is be there for my family. Like, I'm there for everyone. And being sick really, really helped me to understand how much I was there for everybody and how little people were there for me. I drove at that time a stick shift. Well, I still drive it. I still have it. It's here. I drove a 2004 Mazda 6, but it's a stick shift. And when your hands don't work and you're literally in a cast, you cannot drive. Well, you cannot drive a stick shift. You could drive a regular car, but you can't drive a stick shift. And during that time when I was recovering from surgery, like some of my cousins were reaching out like, hey, how are you? Whatever. And there were times where I needed some help, right? Like, I needed help with, I don't know, buying water bottles or whatever. And in that time, I did not have the strength in my hands to even open bottles. Like, even now, I still struggle sometimes. And David already knows. I just hand it to him. He opens it, gives it back to me. But I needed help, and I didn't have a lot of people who were willing to help. So my mom would bring my brother to me, and he would go with me, or she would go grocery shopping for me or whatever. And she would bring me like a case of water, and my brother would sit there and open every single bottle and then put the lid back on, but not tight. Every single bottle, because I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it when I was alone. And I decided, you know what? I can be alone somewhere else. And I wanted to buy a house. And at that time, I had a 0 credit score. And I was in my 30s already. And I had a 0 credit score because I paid for everything cash. Like, if I wanted it, it was cash. If I had a substantial savings, and I said, I want to buy a house. And so when I decided I wanted to buy a house, I looked into what I needed to do. And I said, I need a credit score. Okay. So I opened 2 credit cards. And then I went from a 0 credit score to an 850 credit score in a year and a half. Just from those 2 cards. I don't have student loans. I didn't have any personal debt. I didn't have any car loans because I owned my car. I didn't have a mortgage because I was trying to get one. And so I said, if I'm ever going to buy a house, I know that I can't do it here. California is way too expensive. There's no way that I could ever buy a house here. So I decided that I would move. And so I called my cousin who was living in Dallas. No, I think she was living in Houston at that. No, not Houston. She was living in Houston originally, and then she moved from Houston to Austin. And then they bought a house in Buda, Texas, which is right next to Austin. And then they sold that house and then they moved here to Dallas because her husband at that time got a job at SMU. And so they moved over here. And so I think she was between moving from there to here. And I called her and I was like, hey, I'm going to move and I want to check out some places around the US, see what I want to do. She was like, perfect, come over here. We'll go on a road trip. So I did. I came over here to Dallas and we ended up going to Arkansas, Louisiana. I forgot where we went, but I know for sure Arkansas and Louisiana. And we spent like 10 days on the road, just like driving around everywhere. And I was really loving the area. And I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was because like it has a lot of nature, like in like Arkansas and stuff. And I just felt like, but once we were here, well, once we were back in Dallas, I was like, you know, there's something about here. I don't know what it is. And I just feel like it's home. Like something, like, I don't know. I just knew, and I've always known, even before I moved here, that I was gonna live here or live somewhere, but it was not going to be where I was going to be permanently. I just knew that it was going to be for now. And here I am, and it's been 7 years. On March 16th, actually, was 7 years, and I'm getting ready to leave again. So I don't know where I'm going to go, but I know I won't be here. And I've told David from the beginning, Texas is this chapter in my life, but it will never be home. It's not a permanent place for me. So if you're not interested in that, then I suggest you move on, because I'm not going to be here forever and I will not be in a long-term relationship and long distance. So, you're going to be in Houston in July. Maybe coming to Dallas before that, before or after that. Oh yeah, you've told me before that your best friend lives here in the Dallas area. I would love to have a meetup. That'd be awesome. Nydia, come join us. See, that's my cheesy smile. We plan to visit the Teddy Bear Park next visit. Thank you for sharing the park. Oh, you're welcome. I really do hope you guys get out there because it is so darn cute, Alonda. And when we went, I realized how close it was to Highland Park. And when you had just announced that your girls got into SMU, and I was like, they're going to be right down the street. Like if I was right down the street, I would go there every single day, probably. Because what else am I doing with my life? But I can go take a walk with the turtles. Yes. I do have a prayer partner. It happens to be my cousin. And so she's the only person I talk to about our problems. I just don't believe that everybody needs to know those things, because what ends up happening is the person that you're talking to happens to be your friend, of course, your friend or your family. And then they become biased because they're always looking out for you and they're only hearing your side. And I really do believe that there are 3 stories to every side: your side, my side, and the truth. And I don't believe that anybody sees everything for exactly what it is at every time. So I know that if I'm having an issue with him, it may be a real issue, but it may not be. I don't know. So it may be just me interpreting it in a way that is not conducive to a healthy relationship. And I really do understand that. And I know that he's going to have his side. And I know that somewhere in the middle is going to be the real whatever happened. And so I just don't want people to hear my constant complaining. And I don't want them to dislike him because of their bias, because they're my friend or my family. And I don't want them to ever feel like, or see him in a different way just because I'm complaining about it. So I don't discuss my issues with other people outside of her. She's the only person that I talk to about that, and my therapist, of course. But I mean, like actual like people who really know me and have a vested interest in me, I do not discuss our relationship with. Unless it's like trivial stuff, like stupid butthead stuff, then who cares? But I have absolutely no problem sharing anything and everything about my life and our life together, except for our real life, like issues. Like our real issues do not get discussed ever. So if you ever hear me talking about something, it's something that I don't deem as being important, and neither does he, because we've talked. Like I don't discuss things like that may be a conflict between the two of us unless he and I agree that it was stupid. Like if it's stupid, then who cares? Because in the end, my interpretation of that story is we were stupid and it was both of us, and we've learned from that or whatever. So yeah, I will talk about him till the cows come home, but you will never hear me like with a true issue. Like I might be like, oh yeah, he's getting on my nerves right now because of whatever, but those are just trivial, stupid things. And I don't think that those trivial, stupid things will ever make anybody have a biased opinion about him, because in the end, whether or not he and I work out, whether or not he and I are together for the rest of our lives, I don't think it's fair to have people dislike him because I'm in a bad mood about something. Nydia, where are you in Texas? If you say Texas is not home for you either, where are you? Oh, thank you, Missy. Mia, your name changes so much. I feel like, okay. So Mia made a comment last night on a post that I made because apparently Eli Lilly has came out and been like, hold up, wait a minute. No, sir, hers and hims. We are not partners. I guess they were in a situationship and not a relationship, like hers and hims believed, because hers and hims put out a statement that they are partnering with Eli Lilly to sell name brand Zepbound and Mounjaro through their telehealth company. And like a day or two later, Lilly released I don't know what it's called, but they made a letter and they released a letter and said, no, sir, we are not. So there's no such thing as a relationship between the two of us. It's in your imagination. And then I had told her that I keep seeing the cat and I'm like, who's stealing Mia's profile? Let's go. Let's get him. And it's her all the time. But thank you. I will be honest, lives are scary. Lives are very scary. I don't know why I'm cracking myself up. And yes, it can make family situations really crazy if you believe in airing all your dirty laundry between everybody. Oh, thank you, Miss Alonda. Yes, please remember to like the live and all the videos that you guys watch. Like the videos, comments, because it really does help the algorithm to understand that the videos that are being put out, although I ramble a lot and I make a lot of nonsense, but when you interact, any kind of engagement at all helps YouTube to understand that something is benefiting you. And if it benefits you, it might benefit somebody else who has the same watch habits as you, and then it will push my videos out. And it really does help the channel. I know I never bring it up, hardly ever. And I don't know, it feels kind of weird to tell people like, oh yeah, like, comment, and subscribe. I mean, people watch YouTube because they watch YouTube, right? Like you are watching many YouTubers and they all say the same thing. And so I don't know. I don't know. My cat in the fishing hat is staying for a while. Okay. I like him. I don't know. Is it your cat? I've wondered that. Is that your personal cat, your personal photograph, or is that something you found online and you're using? And if I ever see it, I should not just assume it's you because somebody else could be using that photograph. I love the color of the hat though, because it's like an aqua color, like I don't know the color, but it's like a blue gray color. So if there are no more questions, I can bring up the questions that were asked. Somebody asked me what my heritage is. I did ask if they wanted to clarify what they meant by that. They didn't. I think they're asking me like what my nationality is or like what I am. I'm Mexican. My mother's grandparents come from a place in Mexico called Abasolo in Guanajuato, Mexico. And they migrated here many moons ago. I found more stickers last night, and I so wish I could have shown you. Aw, send me an email. Take a picture of the stickers that you find, and then send me an email, and I would absolutely, positively love to see them. Which reminds me, you guys. Okay, Mia, this is your fault, just so you know, because one day you had talked about making merch, right? Like a T-shirt or something, and I was like, hey, that's a great idea. It's Mr. Kitty, and he has his ears burnt off from our. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Kitty. I'm so sorry that your ears were burnt off from a house fire, but I'm glad that you're alive. And he's your best buddy. He's so cute. And so I sat here one day and I decided to draw something. I'm not artistic, you guys, but I tried. So I drew this pickle. And this pickle is me. See, it even has my birthmark, and my bows are favorites, and it has curly hair like me. And then she has a fanny pack like me. And I made her a sticker. I made her into a sticker. And this was the first sticker I printed out on my little sticker machine. So it says on the top, I'm a sample. And I'm like, okay. But it's really just this piece that's a sample. But so I'm working on, because I showed this to somebody and they thought it was a green sandwich. It's like, why does that look like a sandwich? I don't know. I guess it looks like a sandwich. I'm not an artist, you guys, but I try. And so, oh, and in case you didn't notice, she's giving you a hug, a digital hug. So this would be me. And I want to make them into, well, obviously I want to make her cuter and more clear that it's a pickle, because I love pickles. And I don't know how to like express myself in a better way than that. But yeah, so I'm Mexican. My grandparents come from Mexico. They came here many, many years ago. My dad's parents come from Texas. They're Tejanos since it was Mexico, actually. Like their family lineage comes from somewhere in the southern part of Texas. Oh, you're in El Paso. I didn't imagine that El Paso was very fun at all. I'm so glad. See, okay, maybe she's just weird, but I'm glad you knew it was a pickle. That's exciting. Oh, so I think somebody asked a question up here. Hold on. I don't know how do you move the comment? There we go. L asked, can you work anywhere with your job? No, I cannot. They recently changed our rules. It used to be that we had to live within 90 minutes. It was not based on miles. It was 90 minutes. If your equipment goes down, you need to be able to report to the office within 90 minutes. But then that changed, and they actually closed our office. Our office was officially closed on the 31st of March, and we are now a fully 100% digital office, and we will never be able to report to the office if our equipment goes down anymore. However, we are only allowed to move within 250 miles of the DFW airport. So anywhere that I move to keep my current position, I need to be within 250 miles of that, which also means that, I mean, if I'm going to move, it's not going to be to somewhere else in Texas, because I already own a house here in Texas. So why would I move somewhere else in Texas? I would have to sell my house, and I'm never going to get an APR like I have right now. I pay 2.65% APR on my house. Like, come on, where am I going to find that at? The fanny pack and the long eyelashes, and it's a pickle shape. I thought so too, right? Like when I looked at it, come on, how does that not look like a pickle? And it's green. Like, what sandwich is not like, come on. So I don't know. But yeah, no. So I would need to change jobs. And I think I said it. Oh, it hasn't come live yet because I changed my schedule. You guys will see this in my Monday video, where I talk about a job that I've, oh, hi, Miss Taisha, how are you? Thank you. I'm not an artist, but I try. And sometimes I can be a little, my brother is, well, okay. So both of my brothers are younger than me, but I always refer to the older of the two youngest as my older brother, and then my youngest brother, even though they're both younger than me. My oldest brother, he actually is an artist. Like, I don't know if he draws anymore, but he used to like be super, hi, Miss Jen, no worries. No worries at all. I'm just glad to see you all here. Like, I'm so excited. This is so nervous and like exciting and scary. And, and you guys see how I am in real life all the time because I am forever being distracted. Like, forever being distracted. But I talk about it in Monday's video coming up where I didn't know that it was a possibility when I was a kid that a flight attendant was like a real life possibility as a career. Never knew that. I didn't understand that until I was already like an older adult, but I also knew that at my size, I could never do that. I could never do that at my size. And I didn't think that I would ever not be my size. So once I realized that I could change and I could do something about it, and it could stay off because, you know, I've lost and gained the same 100 pounds over and over and over. And the most I've ever lost was 115 pounds until now. But then again, also my biggest size was always, you know, this 296 up or down 4 pounds until the COVID era. And I didn't understand that, you know, I really could control myself. I really could keep the weight off. And once I figured out that I really could do that, I decided, you know, I really, really can. And I really am. And one thing about me that you guys may not know is that when I say that I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. My mom always tells me that if I tell you something, that it's as good as done. It may take me 10 years to do it, but it's going to be done. Anything I've ever wanted to do in my entire life, I've done. And here we are. So I have decided that I want to be a flight attendant. There is no weight like requirement. However, part of the training, and remember, I do have a brother who is a flight attendant with the same company that I work for. So I'm always asking him, I'm always like, let me, you know, and I recently decided that I'm going to be a flight attendant. This was a couple months ago that I decided this, and me and my brother have a plan. We have a plan for this, and there's no like weight requirement exactly. However, you do have to be able to sit in what's called a jump seat. Jump seat on the airplane. If you've ever sat close enough to like, it's usually like in the middle of the plane, or like where the front doors are. There's like a little seat that like comes down, and they just sit down and get seatbelted in. You have to be able to sit in that jump seat, buckle the belt with no extender, and fit. You have to fit in that seat. And there's a reach test, and I'm very short. I'm only 5'2", and I have very short arms. Very short arms. I'm like T-Rex, see? And have you guys ever seen the cartoon Meet the Robinsons, where there's a T-Rex, and he's saying, like, his master's telling him, get him, and he's stuck like in the corner of a building, and his head's stuck in the corner like this, and he's reaching with his little arms, and he's like, I'm trying, but I have such a big head and such little arms. That's me. Little tiny T-Rex arms. But you have to be able to reach, like, and you can go on your tippy toes, but I don't think you can have shoes on, but you have to be able to reach like into the, like, bin something, I don't know. But my brother said that he's pretty confident I could reach, and that would be the only thing that I would need to work on outside of that, outside of the weight. But yeah, so that is my plan, and I'm going to do that, and you guys are going to watch. You guys are going to see it. And once I do that, then I could live anywhere, you know, and I could just commute for work. And the way that my company runs it is that when you're on reserve, which is like your first 2 years of being a flight attendant, then you basically work for like a week straight. And then the rest of the time you are not like required to do that. They're called like they're on-call days, basically, right? So you're on call for those 6 days. I think it's 6 days. It might be 7 full days, but it's 6 days. And they do them in a row. And other airlines don't do that. Other airlines, some of them do like where you're on call for a whole month. Some of them do it like where you're on call for 2 weeks out of the month. So it just depends. But I could live anywhere I want, and then I could just commute to wherever it is I'm going. And that would give me the flexibility and the ability to remain employed with my medical insurance, because I don't want to give up my medical insurance, because if I go somewhere else, my A1C is no longer in the type 2 diabetic range. I am now considered not even pre-diabetic. When my A1C was tested for my hysterectomy, I was at 4.8, and I had went down from 6.6 to 4.8 in a matter of months. So if I were to start with the new insurance plan, I would no longer be qualified for Mounjaro, and I don't want to give it up. So I would like to stay employed with who I'm with right now, and just go into a fight attendant role, which is very, very, very difficult to do, but I have a plan. It's just us. I'm even like this in person, like where I get nervous really easily around a lot of people. And I know there may not be, like you guys might not consider you guys a lot of people, but I consider one person a lot of people sometimes. Hi, Felicia Marie. And hi, Tuan. How are you? Thank you guys for joining. Like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm here to try to learn. Miss L. Yeah, 5'2" is very short. I'm very, very short. My dad is not tall. My mom and I are the same height. I'm actually just a little bit taller than my mom because I'm 5'2" and a half, and my mom's 5'2". My dad, I think, is like 5'6" or something. And I posted a picture in my community post of me standing next to my dad when I was, I think, 9. Was I 9 or 10? I think I was 10 in that picture. That was the last time I'd ever seen him. And I know I put a picture over his face, and I put a picture over my brother's face, but you can kind of tell like we're the same height pretty much. Am I planning to move out of Texas, any specific state? Yes, I am going to be moving out of Texas. I don't know yet. I've been thinking for a while, maybe Wyoming or Montana, but I don't know. Yesterday, David was like, he gets a wild hair up his butt sometimes, and he decides he wants to go and move somewhere. He's always going back to California though in his head. But when I get serious and talk about like really moving, he doesn't know. But yesterday he's like, let's move to Philadelphia. And I'm like, okay. And he doesn't know where he wants to go. But I'm glad to hear you're blessed. I am as well, like that is the story of my life. I am blessed, you guys. I really am. Like, I can't even explain it, but for years, I didn't imagine that I could be this healthy, mentally, physically, emotionally. I've been pretty messed up for a while with all of those things. And we're finally connecting the dots, and we're finally getting out of that like really bad place. And it's been out of that place for a while, but yeah, I'm blessed. I am. And I don't know, like, I don't know. So anybody who just dropped in, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask. You guys could travel to the places you're considering and get an idea of the life and culture there. Yes, we can. We can do that. The only problem is Saturdays are the best time to travel if you're going to travel on a weekend, because it is the least travel day. Most people traveled on Friday to get to wherever they were going, Thursday or Friday to get to where they were going. They spend Saturday there, and then a lot of people fly home on Sundays. So Sundays is very, very difficult to get flights. And we're on standby. So yeah. But we do plan to go do a lot more day trips. I was watching, I don't know if it was Reels. I don't know. I was watching something, and this video was about this couple who decided they were going to do a day trip, and they did a day. I don't know where they're from, but wherever they went, they said it was like a 4-hour flight to Chicago. They went to Chicago. They spent a couple hours there. They got lunch and they flew home, but they paid for their flights. I'm not paying for my flights. Mine are free. So mine are free. I apologize if you answered this question, but what part of California are you from? Oh, no problem, Felicia. I am from Northern California, from a place called Salinas, California. In fact, if you eat fruits or vegetables in the U.S., you are probably eating them from the Salinas Valley. Once upon a time, Salinas used to produce 96% of the entire world's, yes, world, not America, but the entire world, their agriculture. So any fruit or vegetable that you were eating, 96% of the time was going to come from the Salinas Valley. It's no longer that prevalent, but it is still something along the lines of like 50%. Even here, when I go to like HEB or Winco or Albertsons or wherever, even Walmart, a lot of the bagged produce, a lot of the cans of produce come from the Salinas Valley, and that's where I'm from. Yes, I really am healing a lot, like a lot. And it makes me want to cry just thinking about it for sure. I mean, you guys, when I first started this channel, which was like almost 3 years ago, I was in a really bad place. Like I was in such a bad place that I couldn't work. I couldn't live like a normal person. I was in an outpatient program because I was losing my mind, like quite literally losing my mind. I was in a really dark place. Like it was really hard to even like get up and like wash my face or shower or, do anything. All I wanted to do was sleep. And I put myself in this program because I didn't want to live like that anymore. And I knew that I didn't have to. But I knew that I didn't know how to get out of it on my own. So I put myself in this program and I was there for 6 hours a day, every single day, Monday through Friday. And then the last like month, it went down to like 4 hours a day. And by the time I got out, I felt better. But about a year went by and I ended up there again. And I knew that whatever it was that I was healing from I wasn't implementing what I needed to implement to continue to heal the way that I needed to. I didn't understand the severity of what was happening. And so I went back and I did that again. And since then, I regularly am in therapy. I regularly, I was seeing a psychiatrist and I was on a lot of medications. I know I think I've talked about this before. I have been diagnosed with OCD, overcompulsive disorder, for those of you who don't know what that is. So I know some of you guys are always like, you're so paranoid. Yeah, I really am. I really am paranoid. Like I don't just say that to say that. That is part of my diagnosis. I'm irrational, and that's 100% just what it is. I am irrational. I am drinking again. This is the HEB version of Topo Chico. It's called 1877 mineral water. Basically, it is like a naturally, I think where they get it sourced from. It's carbonated mineral water with natural flavors of mango, in fact. But yeah, so I'm irrational, and people with OCD know that they're irrational, but they can't help it. They are just mentally inclined to continue to do these like rituals, these like compulsions. For me, it has a lot to do with like, whenever I cook, I'm always like for hours after I forget, I can't get it through my head that I've turned off the stove or the oven. When I leave the house, I often will come back and check if I've locked the door, sometimes 10 times before I'm able to leave the house, because I'm convinced that I've forgotten to lock the door. When I have like my wallet on me, there's more times than other times. Like if I'm traveling, then I'm convinced that I've left my wallet somewhere. I've forgotten my passport or my ID. No matter what, I can have it in my hand. And I just cannot comprehend that I have put it into my wallet and put it away and it's safe with me. And I just go through these things. I've also been diagnosed with bipolar disorder 1. I don't remember how these names are, but depression and anxiety. One of them is like general anxiety disorder, I think. And then major depressive disorder, I think it's called. And PMDD, which I have never thought to ask getting the hysterectomy if that is a cure, because there's no cure. It's treatable, but it can't be cured. So I don't have any idea. Yeah. And I know I've told you guys before that I have an uncle, and I have more than one. I have one uncle, but I have other family who are also schizophrenic and in mental hospitals. And since I was little, I've always been afraid that I was going to end up having that diagnosis myself. I don't, but at least not yet. And I think around the age of like 23, 25 is when it manifests in adults. But, I'm 43 and I don't think that that's something for me. Yeah, flying is like, I don't know, because I do have Saturdays and Sundays off right now and through the end of September, and who knows what it'll be next time. But David only gets Sundays off 100% for sure. But we're trying to get him to take a weekend off so that we can go somewhere. Don't know where we'll go, but hi Z, hello. Thank you, Jerlene. Yes, it is. It has been a struggle, but here we are, and I'm doing a lot better. And I will fully admit that it has a lot to do with you guys. Like, if I didn't have the support that you guys give me regularly, I promise you I would not be nearly as far along as I am now. Thank you, Taisha. Outpatient, I never imagined that I would have to do something like that, but I'm glad that it was available to me. I really am. And the thing about it is it's only like a mile, like the place that I was doing it was only like a mile and a half from me. But people were coming from like all over the DFW to go there. And like people were driving like an hour and a half every day just to get there. And I'm like, so I counted myself very lucky that I was close enough to be able to do it. And that was not going to be an excuse for me to not do it. It was, it's too far. And like this, it was just so close that I had no excuse to go. I think I only missed like 3 days the entire time. And no, I'm lying. I missed like a whole week one time because it gave me COVID one time. But outside of that COVID, I only missed 3 times. In the 2 different times I went, and both of them are like, I think like 3 months long or 4 months long. Thank you, Mia. Thank you for sharing that. I mean, I know that it's not easy to talk about those things. It's very scary for a lot of people to admit that they have mental health concerns that most people don't have. But I mean, if you aren't willing to talk about it with somebody, doesn't matter who it is, then I don't know how to heal from things that I'm not able to talk about. And so I'm not able to talk about weight in real life, but I can do it here. So here we are. I'm now cleaning, organizing, and listening. So if I'm repetitive, I apologize in advance. Oh, don't worry about it, Dee. I'm repetitive all the time, even if I ain't paying attention. So it's the ADHD in me, man. Nidia, do you feel that Mounjaro has been helpful for your mental health? I read about studies suggesting it might have benefits in this area, and I'm curious about your experience. Honestly, I'm not sure. I have gone off my medication. I have, I didn't do it on my own. I worked with my psychiatrist, my therapist, and my primary care physician to wean off and then completely come off because for various reasons, but mostly because I didn't think that I was able to really address my issues while I was so medicated, because a lot of the things that like I was going through, I wasn't going through them. So I wasn't remembering like things that were getting to me that I needed to like work through. So I stopped everything. Yes, I did it by weaning off. I didn't just like, from one day to the next stop. I weaned off. And from there, I went a little crazy for a while. And then we were able to rein it back in. And, I've been on Mounjaro since June 19th of 2024 now. And I was off medication for about 6 months before that. So I'm not sure if it is like, I'm not sure if Mounjaro itself is contributing to like where I'm at mentally right now, or if it's just kind of everything. but I am not somebody who will ever just say absolutely not or yes 100%, because I don't know. I really just don't know if I would have only been on Mounjaro and not doing the other things that I'm doing, if I would be in the mental place that I'm at right now or not. I don't know. But I do know that it doesn't make it worse. And I know that there is reports of especially Ozempic and Wegovy that say that they make it, they've given people like anxiety and like made depressive states worse, and then given people like some self-harming thoughts. And I'm grateful that I've never been one of those people who I'm grateful that although I've never been one of those people who've had self-harming thoughts, I don't have them now with Mounjaro. And I know that some people report that going on GLP-1s do bring that up in them. I'm lucky that I'm one of those that hasn't experienced that. And I hope that none of you are either, because I can't even imagine how scary that would be. Aw, thank you, Mia. Londa, where are you going? Driving. I mean, don't answer because you're driving, but you're driving somewhere across Houston is, we went to Houston. I've only been there once. We went to Houston for David no, I'm a liar. We went there twice. We went to Houston both times for David's job. One time he was in training, so I went with him. And then another time he had a Christmas party for work. And so we went over there, and then they put us up in a hotel and stuff. But man, getting from one side to the other is hard. It's hard. I had postpartum anxiety. It was a huge growth for me to get a glimpse of what people deal with when they suffer with mental health. And I'm a better human and mom because of it. Thank you for sharing that, Sandra. I know that a lot of people, they look at people like me with these issues and stuff, and they just think, oh, you're making it up. And, even my mom has been one of those people who's like, dude, calm down. Like, what are you doing? And I can't help it that I react that way. And I can't help it that I instinctually just, I don't know, like certain things come out of me with certain like sort of topics or whatever. And I can't help it, but I don't think that a lot of people really understand what it's like to be somebody with certain diagnoses. I know some of them are worse than others. And I know that although there's always going to be somebody worse off than me, that doesn't invalidate my experiences and what I go through. And it doesn't invalidate what you go through, even if you have never been diagnosed with any mental illness, disorder, or what have you. My experience doesn't negate what you've gone through. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, like I had a really troubled childhood and all of this stuff. And then, we get to talking about our childhoods and stuff. And they're like, oh, who am I to like be complaining about my childhood? Look at yours. It was worse. I was like, but just because mine experience was traumatic doesn't mean that your experience wasn't traumatic to you. And I don't feel like anybody should ever feel like, oh, I understand that it's a saying for a reason that, somebody always has it worse off than you. And that's true. There's always something that's going to be worse, but that doesn't mean what you went through is not valid and not harmful to you. And for those of you who have been, I don't know anybody who's never been through something traumatic. So just know that even though I've experienced the things that I've experienced, doesn't mean that I don't understand, and doesn't mean that I would ever be somebody to invalidate your feelings, because your feelings are valid and they are real, even if they aren't fact. They may not be rooted in fact. Like, that's something that I'm learning, that my feelings are real and they're not to be dismissed, but they may not be factual. Ooh, a scholarship. Who's going? My daughter has a scholarship interview. She is typing. Hi, daughter. Good luck. My brother put himself through his bachelor's degree with all scholarships. Every single thing that he did was through scholarships. And I know that that's a lot of work. So congratulations to you for taking the step to even do it, because I have a cousin who also went through her bachelor degree and refused to do any scholarships. And everything that she did was with personal loans and student loans and stuff. And she just said that she was too lazy to do it. So you are not too lazy to do it. And I am very proud of you for doing that, and good luck. You will definitely be in my prayers. You and your sister will both be in my prayers for you to get all the scholarships you need. And you will 150,000% finish school with no debt. You will finish school with no debt. Every single thing will be covered by a scholarship for both of you. I truly believe that. But you guys are the ones who have to make those steps to do the scholarship interviews and the papers and the applications and all of those things. And I'm very proud of you for doing that. Very proud of you. It's a mind trip because you know it is all in your head, but you can't stop it. Yes, Sandra, that's 100% true. It is all like something that just takes over. I don't know. And it's just, I don't know how to make it stop. I've been through Texas driving when I was really young. Sadly, I saw a lot of people living in cardboard boxes along the roads. My first time seeing homeless people made me... Wait. I live here in Texas, and I rarely ever... I mean, yes, I see them. I rarely ever see homeless people here. And I think part of the reason is because of the extreme weather. Where I'm from in California, man, they're everywhere. And I mean everywhere. And so I'm used to seeing it. Like, I've seen it my whole life. I've been homeless myself, in fact, too. Although I had my car, so I lived in my car. I didn't have a home, so that made me homeless. And it is Andrea. Hi, how are you? Hello, Andrea. Hi, how are you? Miss Felicia says, any tips on supporting a loved one considering going through outpatient therapy? I want to help my sister on her mental health journey. Okay. My best piece of advice is to encourage her to do it. Do not let her stop herself from doing it, because it's scary. It's terrifying to do that. You are met with a lot of judgment from people. Even if they don't mean to judge, they do. People judge when you have mental health issues. Sorry, guys, I just knocked into my table. So my best advice for you is to be supportive. You can contact the outpatient therapy program, and you can ask them if they offer family therapy too, because I know mine did. Like, they gave you the option to do one or more family therapy sessions where it could be virtual or you can go in person and do that with her. And I can't even explain to you the how supportive that would be for somebody going through that, to know that somebody that they love is willing to be there for them in a way that is inconvenient for them, but they love them so much that they're willing to do it. So I would absolutely encourage you to try that. And also, and you guys know, because I do it almost every week, you should learn about some coping skills. And one of those coping skills is coloring. Maybe you can get some adult coloring books. And you guys know I love my Matte Hop pens. These pens, the Pentel Matte Hop pens, these are like the best coloring pens I've found yet. And oh, I'm so sorry, I keep knocking into my desk. So that you guys can learn some coping skills together. And I don't know if you guys live with each other or near each other, but if you are available to her to spend some time doing some coping skills with her, I highly recommend it, because learning new things is hard, especially as an adult. It's very hard. Great to see you live. Thank you. Thank you. Being homeless is definitely a humbling experience, 100%. And I've been homeless twice, in fact. And both times, thank God I had my car. Thank God I had my car. But where I'm from, the weather is usually 60 degrees. And I know 60 degrees sounds cold, especially to Texans. But where I'm from, it's not, because the air is very humid. I mean, we get 100% humidity. So it feels good, actually, in that temperature. So thank God I had a car to live in, but believe me, sleeping in your car in the winter when it's, 20 degrees is not a fun experience. And I can't imagine doing that on the street. That's scary. And my heart goes out to those who who have gone through that and are still dealing with that. But I just don't see a lot of homeless people here in Texas, at least not what I'm used to. Yes, Dee Dee, it's 100% true that your feelings are real, but they may not be based in facts. And that's something that a lot of us don't understand, is that even though we're feeling it, they may not be factual. They could be irrational feelings, or they could be, just very rational to you and your experience, but they're irrational to somebody from the outside. But that doesn't mean that the fear is rooted in truth. I mean, it's just there. It just doesn't. But what you're going through is valid. The feelings that you're feeling are yours, and nobody can take that from you. I've also lived in my car. It wasn't fun, but I still went to work, even taking a shower at the YMCA in the town I lived in. Lucky for me, the job that I had a shower. So I was able to do that at work. And sometimes I would call my aunt and I would go to her house and shower there and stuff. But I didn't like to tell people that I didn't have somewhere. I don't like to ask people for stuff. I don't like to depend on people. And I always feel like a burden to those around me when I'm going through things, and I don't want to ask them for like, can I sleep on your couch, stuff like that. Because I don't want pity, I guess. I don't know. But I'm sorry that you've experienced that, because it's not fun. Believe me, I know. You're very welcome, Felicia Marie B. Sorry. Sometimes I get like really tongue-tied when I'm trying to read. And yeah. One thing about me that I don't know if I've ever shared, the furthest I've ever gotten in school was 7th grade. I finished 7th grade, and then I didn't finish any more school. I went to school. I went to 8th grade, but I didn't finish. And I didn't go to high school. I've never spent a single day in a high school class, like a regular high school class. And I got my GED when I was 17. I moved to Nevada for school. And in Nevada, you had to be, you had to be 17 in Nevada to get your GED, but I was only 16. And you couldn't do it until you were 17. But suddenly they changed the law while I was there that said you can be 16 if you had your parents' permission, you went to court, seen a judge, and the judge approved your specific case for you to be able to do it. So I went to the judge. I told them my story. Hey, I want to work because my mom needs help. She's very sick. She has a metal plate in her head, blah, 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 blah. My dad did this. My mom's going through that, blah, blah, blah. I explained my whole story. And he just looked at me and he was like, okay, I'm going to approve you to get your GED, or to take the test to get your GED. And if you pass, you will be able to go to work. And I said, thank you. And then I went and I took my test and then I fell asleep during the science part. I don't know how I did that, but I fell asleep. And because I didn't finish it that day, they let me come back the next day and do the other 2 tests that I hadn't finished. So I did those. And then I was one of the first 5 people in the entire state of Nevada to ever be allowed to do their GED at 16. And I was the highest score of all 5 of us. That's great advice, Miss Taisha. Thank you. She says, if you take a deep breath and exhale, it'll make it a bit easier to focus while reading. I get like jumbled up in my head and I forget to breathe, I think. So that's very great advice. Thank you. It does slow your mind down for sure. And I forget sometimes that I can breathe. Like, come on, lungs, work. That's a wonderful accomplishment, Delilah. Great job at perseverance through adversity. Thank you, Mia. I've had a very interesting life. For those of you who watched my video about why I have PTSD, you understand what started my roller coaster of like trauma in my life. I won't go into detail here because I know not everybody can handle that kind of stuff, but I grew up in a family where abuse was normal. and all of the husbands beat their wives and act like it was nothing. And I don't know, like, to grow up in that is normal for some of us, but it's really not normal. And we think it's normal and it's really not. And then you grow up and you realize that's not normal and I don't want to live like that. And I hope that any of you who are going through similar situations, who are being abused, leave. I know that's not easy. I know that it's so easy for me to say, just leave. I know that. And I know it's not easy to walk away, but I hope that one day you have the ability to do that. Because it's not about courage. It's not about strength. It's not about being brave, because you can be brave and be courageous and have the strength and not have the financial capability to do that, or not have the confidence to do it, or have varying other reasons why you can't do it. But I do hope that if that is something that you struggle with, you are able to one day take control and leave, because they will never change. They will never change. Well, thank you for listening to that story, because believe me, it's something it's not like I tell it a lot. It's not like I have any reason to tell my story a lot, but I have told that story many times over, the past 36 years. And there are times where I could tell that story and be straight-faced and like whatever, like if I didn't personally experience it, right? Like I could just tell it like it's just a factual story, black and white. And then there are other times where it's very emotional and I can't get through it without like crying and like kind of like, I don't know, like being very emotional through it. There are just certain times that I relive it when I tell that story. And there are other times where I don't, like I can tell it and I'm just going through the motions, I guess. But, please understand that I truly have gone through a lot of traumatic things in my life. And if you don't know that story, you may not understand what I'm talking about. But let's just say that because of what happened, my mother was blessed to be able to be part of an experimental brain surgery. They did an experimental brain surgery on her one day, and then they put a plastic piece over her brain so that it wouldn't be exposed to like literal dirt, right? Like literal dirt from the outside rolled into her brain, because your brain can't handle stuff like that. And like insects and stuff could really like make a nest in your brain, like for real. And so 6 months later, they couldn't do everything at once, right? Because I at the time when I was telling the story, I couldn't remember why it was, but now I remember it was because her brain had swelled so much that they weren't able to like put the pieces back together the way they needed to. So 6 months later, she came back after the swelling had reduced, and then they removed the plastic piece, and then they made a better cut into the skull and removed that piece so that they were able to put a metal plate into her head. And both of those brain surgeries were experimental, and she had to be awake for both of them. And so my mother is really a walking miracle. If you don't believe in God, go and listen to that story. And I promise you, you will not be able to not believe in God after that, because she is literally a walking miracle. Like literally. They told her she would never walk, talk, eat on her own. She would never be able to do anything on her own. She would never speak again. She would never do anything on her own. She would be a vegetable. She would need constant help for the rest of her life. And 36 years later, and my mother needs none of that. She is able to do all of those things all by herself. And the only thing that she really got from that was, for many, many years after that, she would get sick a lot. She would get really debilitating migraines. And if you've ever dealt with migraines, you know that it can make you very, very sick. are light sensitive, scent sensitive, you're throwing up all the time, like you're dizzy, like you don't feel good. And she would get like that for many, many, many years. It's probably been like the last 20 years that she has not been very sick. But outside of that, and her memory was affected by that. But outside of that, she's perfectly normal and fine. And you would never in your life know that something happened to her like that. Yeah. I'm thankful for the rough things in my life because I have different appreciation than I did before. Also, never wanting a pity party from others keeps a lot of us from sharing the nasty details. Yes, Mia, I agree. I spent my entire childhood with people pitying me. They were like, oh, poor Delilah all the time. And I'm like, I'm not like I'm financially poor. I'm not, I mean, in those days, right? Like I'm financially poor, but I'm not somebody to be pitied. I'm very grateful for the experiences that I've had. If that wouldn't have happened, my mother never would have left my dad, ever, ever, ever. And because of that, in fact, she didn't get a divorce because she wanted to. She got a divorce because my aunt made her. My aunt took her to the court. She filled out all the paperwork for my mom. She made my mom sign it. My mom didn't even know what she was doing. She was just like, okay. And now she's grateful that my aunt did that, but she didn't know what she was doing. She didn't want to divorce my dad after that. She was like, I'm married and, I need to stay married until he doesn't want to be married to me anymore. And my aunt told her he doesn't, because if he did, he wouldn't have done that. And my mom was like, I still don't want to get a divorce. But luckily, my aunt was able to, I don't want to say trick her, but she did trick her into getting a divorce. And my mom is grateful now, but, yeah, I hated being pitied as a kid. I was like, look, I may be a lot of things, but I am not somebody to be pitied. I'm alive. My mother's alive. My dad's alive. My brother's alive. We function just fine. And there's no reason to pity that at all. So, yeah. But it did impact my life very deeply. And I learned, I was a big daddy's girl, right? Like, oh my God, I loved my dad. I just always wanted to be around my dad. I didn't even like my mom. And I know I can say that now, but I don't know why I didn't. And my mom to this day will tell me like, I don't know why you didn't either, but you didn't. And I just always wanted to be with my dad. And hey, Miss Andrea, how are you? I hope you guys have a great day. I don't know where you're going, but I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you guys are not getting the storm. And I don't know anybody, if any of you are in the DFW, I think Debbie's in the DFW. I don't remember. Somebody is here in Fort Worth too. I hope you guys are not being affected by these storms. Last night I could not sleep at all because all I heard was the thunder and the lightning. Well, I don't think you hear lightning, but all I saw was the lightning and heard the thunder, and it felt like it was hitting my house. And I was like, oh gosh. And it was really, really crazy. I know some stories that are crazy and they seem unreal, but we carry on and we get stronger and rise above the hurts. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Well, I'm grateful to hear that you guys are not having the storms right now, Andrea, because that's amazing. It stinks to be like, oh, let's go have a great day outside. And then suddenly it's flipping like flooded out there. Like I'm really scared to go see outside what it looks like because my front lawn doesn't have grass. It has like, I don't know, but there's this area where I have one single gutter. I don't know why houses in Texas don't have gutters, you guys, but I have one single space of gutter that is like literally maybe it's only the width of the doorway, right? Like the little entryway or whatever to get in and out of the house. And then it goes down the side of the garage and then comes down and that's it. That's it. So it's only the size of the doorway times 2. And then where it like releases the water onto my lawn, it has eaten away all the grass. It is eroding the dirt and throwing it into the street. And I don't know how to fix it. We just keep putting more dirt and we just keep putting the dirt back. And then it just keeps washing it away. And I'm just like, oh. So I'm like scared to go out there and see what gigantic mess is out there. But The grass is finally starting to come in the house I'm in. The under contract process now has no gutter. Wait, what? Are you under contract now? Congratulations. Put gutters. Please put gutters. At least in your doorway. Like, I have the gutter right here in my front door, but not in my back door. And it's like a waterfall that comes down here. Waiting for you to read this because I had something special to share with you. And I understand that. I understand that nobody wants to put themselves in that situation where they speak too soon, but I'm super excited. I am very, very excited for you. I can't wait to see the pictures. I can't wait to hear all about it. That is so exciting. That is so exciting. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. That's awesome. I'm so happy for you. You're the first person I'm telling in the 18 watching reading this. So those of you who are here, let's congratulate Andrea for getting into contract on buying her first house. That is so amazing. I'm so excited. I'm so excited for you. When I got into contract with my house, I was telling you guys that story. I forgot. I moved to Texas to buy a house, and then here I am. And 2 years later, okay, so I was here for 6 months before I got my job because I kept getting job offers, right? And I didn't want to do any of those jobs. And I was able to even keep my job, but I didn't want to because it was too far. And I didn't want to because I hated my job. So I wanted to do something else. And for 6 months, I was applying for jobs and I just wasn't getting the jobs that I wanted. So I was just like doing all these things. And then the day I got my job was actually the day that my job started was October 22nd. And that is the day that my unemployment from California ran out. So I never like went without bringing in an income the whole time I was here. And I got my house. I got my job. And then October of 2 years later, because I knew I had to be at my job for 2 years, I decided I'm going to check and see what I need to do within the next month so that I can start this process. And they ended up telling me, you can start this process now, even though it was 20 days early because I did it on my birthday. I was 20 days early. And they said, you can start the process now because you just have to close after you've been at your job for 2 years. And I said, okay. So we did. And we started the process during COVID, and it was very, very difficult. And I seen like 162 houses, and I'm not exaggerating. During COVID, it was very, very hard to find houses, and it was very, very difficult. And it was, but found this house. I made a list, and I was talking about it on the on Dee Dee's live about like writing a list of the characteristics and stuff that you want in a man. Well, I wrote a list about the characteristics I wanted in a house. I wanted 3 bedrooms. I wanted 2 bathrooms. I wanted a 2-car attached garage because here in Texas, there's not a lot of attached garages. I wanted at least a 1/4 acre. I wanted a big backyard. I wanted a pantry. I wanted gas connections. I wanted to have a quiet neighborhood. I wanted to have neighbors who would be like who would look out for each other, but not be nosy all up in your business. Because I knew that I was going to be traveling, and I wanted to make sure that my neighbors, would look out for my house and I would be okay. I wanted a new roof, and I wanted to have a tree that would block a lot of the heat from the direct sunlight, right? And every single thing on that list, with the exception of the gas, I wrote that list, and I told God, I'm giving this list to you because you're the one who told me I'm going to get a house. You're the one who promised this to me, and I'm telling you that this is what I expect because this is what I want in my house. And I'm grateful that you are going to give me this and more. And he gave me every single thing on that list, every single thing with the exception of the gas. And that's my fault because I thought we had gas here, because the gas insert, the insert of my fireplace is actually a gas insert. The builders must have just used a gas insert. So I thought the house had gas. So I never thought to double check, but whatever. And it doesn't have gas here. And it would cost $76,000 to bring gas here because they say it's like $75 a square foot. And it's 3 streets down where the last gas line is. So they would have to bring it here, and it would be $76,000, they said, but no. Thank you very much, Taisha. Thank you all for being here with me today on the first live. This is nervousing and exciting. And thank you all for congratulating Andrea, because that is so amazing. I'm so happy for you. I'm so proud of you. Thank you all for spending so much time with me. I know that I'm asking a lot. The only thing we get in our lives that we can't replace is our time. And you guys are so gracious with yours with me, because I'm asking you to give me something that you can never replace. You know, how rich you are, how poor you are. You can't buy time, you can't sell time. And you guys are giving that time to me so graciously. And I very, very much appreciate it, because you can be doing anything on your Saturday morning, like sleeping or shopping or spending time with, you know, your loved ones, but instead you're spending it with me. And I appreciate that. And you guys will never understand just how much I appreciate that, because it is very valuable, very, very valuable. And I appreciate it. Thank you. Let me see. I hope you have a wonderful Saturday too, Taisha. Thank you so much for spending the time that you have. 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, 1.25 or 1.4 acres. I don't know if that's quarter acre or almost half acre. I don't know. I don't know what that means, but acre lot, 1,036 square feet. And I wanted a tiny house, but I didn't want that RV issue and being tied to the lot rents and increases. Yes, I know. That's exactly what I didn't want either. My house was gas, but it hasn't had it there for 10 years. And I was told when I called the city to find out if it's public sewer or septic. That's awesome. I am so super duper excited for you. Can't wait to see the pictures. Yes, I did. I had that list. I prayed over that list every single night. I told God, of course, I went to my prayer partner and I was like, look, this is my list. This is what I'm having faith in that God's going to give me, because, you know, and yeah. And I don't, you guys. Oh, and another thing, I told my realtor, I told him the day that I met him, mark my words. His name was Marco. Mark my words, Marco, by the end of this year, I will be owning my own house. And he was like, yeah, you know, just telling me whatever I wanted to hear. And then he ended up telling me, he called me on New Year's Eve and he said, are you sitting down? And I was like, yeah, why? He was like, where's David? And I was like, he's in the restroom. We were at our neighbor's house. We were having drinks at our neighbor's house, celebrating New Year's, right? Like New Year's was coming. And we were going to have a barbecue. We were doing all these things. And it was like, we lived on the first floor. Our neighbor lived on the 3rd floor. So we were up at his house, just hanging out. And he was like, you want to put me on speaker? And so I put him on speaker. I didn't think nothing of it. I wasn't thinking. And then suddenly I got an email from him. And I said, he's going to tell me that house is mine, right? I already know it. And he was like, I was like, shut up, Marco. You better not. I cut him off. I was like, you better not be calling me to tell me that they accepted my offer. And he started laughing. He's like, how did you know? I said, if you wouldn't have sent that email, I wouldn't have known. I wouldn't have known why you were calling me. I see an email from you. And the only reason you're emailing me is because I got paperwork to look at, huh? And he was like, yeah. He was like, Delilah, I want to tell you something. When I first met you, I will never forget. And I had forgotten. I had told him that. He was, I will never forget that you told me by the end of this year, you will be in your own house. He was like, and guess what? You are signing papers right now to own your own home. Your offer was accepted. They want to sell to you. I don't know why. I can't tell you why, but they want to sell to you, and they got offers that were more than what I offered. But they accepted my offer, and he was like, when you first told me that, I was like, yeah, whatever. He's like, but look what you're doing. He's like, it is the last day of the year and you are signing papers to go into contract on your own house. And we moved in January 26th of the next year. And here we are. And we own our own house. Well, I own my own house. And to this day, like sometimes he'll still send me emails and he's like, I'll never forget. He's like, to this day, when people tell me stuff like that now, I believe them. I believe them now. And yeah. I'm so happy for you and all of your accomplishments. I am totally thrilled with your Miss Delilah Pickles. Isn't she so cute? For those of you who missed it, I drew my own logo, my own mascot. I'm working on her because somebody told me she looks like a sandwich, but she's a pickle. So I want to make stickers and then maybe a t-shirt or a hoodie or something with her because she's so cute. I love her. And let's see, I want to do that video I hadn't uploaded to my channel almost 4 years now. Yes, please, Andrea, start your videos because guess what? You are going to be so excited when you get to your goal and you are able to go back on your journey and see where you began. See where you began. Yeah, I don't know if you guys noticed, but all the time in like my community posts, I'm forever calling you guys pickles. Like, hi pickles, look at the pickles. I love pickles. My brother, he was a manager for MAC Cosmetics for many years, and then after for a while, I think for Makeup Forever, I think it's called. He was a manager for both of those cosmetic companies for very many years, for like 10 years or something. And he would call all of his employees my little pickles. He'd be like, oh, my little pickles. And my name is Delilah, and a lot of my family calls me Dill. And so because I love pickles so much. So they're like, oh, you're like a dill pickle. So he calls them pickles, and I call you guys pickles all the time. I don't know if you guys ever noticed, but you guys are my little pickles. I love pickles so much. Oh, and your cat's name is Magic. How cute. Your cat's name is Magic, but you call her Pickles? Okay. I mean, my name is Delilah, and I have an aunt who calls me Corinne. And I don't know why, because I don't have a middle name. My name is just Delilah. Oh, your cat is really Pickles, but I'm so confused. I'm so confused. Is your cat named Pickles or Magic, or do you have two cats? All your animals have food names and nicknames. Oh, how cute. Well, I don't know why either, but it's adorable. If I had a cat, I'm allergic to cats, so I can't have one. But David always wants one. Like, we have all these stray cats in the neighborhood, and he's always feeding them and stuff. The dilly pickles. And I don't know, I can't explain to you guys why I love pickles, but I love pickles, like for real, love pickles. I don't have any in here. I used to have a jar right here next to my desk because I would eat them while I was working. But I do have a bottle of Valentina. This is the Valentina seasoning for if you guys have ever used tajin. Valentina is very similar, except during COVID, it was very, very hard to find tajin. But for some reason, Valentina started selling one, and so it's good. Actually, I bet you would taste good in here. Let's see. I don't know if it's going to give me heartburn or not, but let's find out. That is good. The only thing is this isn't cold anymore, but pickles are good stuff. Yes, they are, Elle. They're very good stuff. You guys, I completely forgot. You guys had a bunch of questions, and I forgot to respond to them. But I guess I'm going to have to, I don't know. We'll have to address questions next week, apparently, because I don't know how to stay on track. Questions. My favorite brand of pickle. Miss L asked my favorite brand of pickles. My favorite pickle on the planet is the Vlasic spicy, zesty dill pickle. But I love the spears. No. I love the whole pickle, but they only sell them in spears here in Texas now. So I'm looking for a new favorite pickle brand here in Texas that I can find regularly. I don't like the Best Made hot and spicy pickle. Ugh. What hair products do you swear by? Girl, look at my hair. Does it look like I swear by anything? I do really like Shea Moisture, though, because when I do take care of my curls, it helps a lot to keep them defined. My heritage and background was never defined, so I'm not really sure what they're asking, but I'm Mexican. I'm a second generation American. I'm a I'm a second generation Californian, in fact, because my mom and my dad were both born in California, even though my dad's entire family, like only him and one of his brothers were born in California. Everybody else was here in Texas. Did you have any concerns or reservations about starting Mounjaro? Miss Alonda asked. Yes and no. I was scared to start any medication that would have the possibility of being a lifetime medication. I don't like medications at all. And I know you guys probably think, girl, you're on so many. Yes, I am on so many now, but I have never been on medications. The only thing that I ever took regularly was allergy pills, and those were not prescribed. It wasn't until recently, within the last 4 or 5 years, that I've started on so many medications, like I'm drowning in prescriptions. But I was afraid to take anything that had the potential of being a lifetime medication, and I didn't know anything about it. I've said it before that the only thing I had ever heard was one time in the very, very, very beginning of COVID, a doctor had recommended that I start semaglutide. But I couldn't afford $1,800, so I didn't. And then I never looked at it again because I'm not diabetic, so I couldn't get it, and my insurance doesn't cover. And even at that time, those medications were not considered FDA approved for weight loss. So, how are your new face serums and lotions going? I'm still purging some, but a lot better. I don't know if you guys can see like the little bumps. But my dermatologist and all the research that I've done, all say that it should be gone within 2 to 3 months, like completely, because I had already passed the purging stage for tretinoin as far as I could tell, and then suddenly I started the triple cream for the rosacea, and I started purging again. And you could see that, like, and this is probably just from the nerves, like how red, and like you see how swollen it is, and then my little bit of redness right here. This one's not, like, this one doesn't hurt, but this one is like radiating heat. But my skin is better than it's been in many, 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 many moons. So I'm super excited about that. Sandra asked, do you have any special customs or holidays that you celebrate that most people don't? My mother has a second birthday, March 18th. Every year since 1989 is her second birthday that we celebrate. That is the year that is the date that she was given a second chance. And so we celebrate my mother having 2 birthdays. I'm 43 and she's 36. So, how did you lose weight before you started the GLP meds? I lost weight by going low carb. I went very, very low carb. I did not eat any breads, any pastas, anything that was a simple carbohydrate. I completely cut it out. And I was really strict, like really, really strict. I only ate low glycemic fruits and vegetables, which, like it's pretty much berries and like zucchinis and cucumbers and pretty much any like green vegetable. I tried to stay away from cruciferous vegetables because it gives me a lot of indigestion. So I tried to stay away from those things. Somebody asked how I met David, and I will quickly tell you. David and I met right before I was coming back to California, right? Because remember I told you guys I came here before I moved here. I came to Texas to like experience other places and see like where I wanted to live and stuff. And I was I met him at the airport on my way back home, and we were just talking a little bit, and he asked me where I was going. I said home to California, and he must have missed the home part, and he heard California. He thought I was going on vacation. I didn't know this until later. He thought I was going on vacation. I thought he understood that I was on vacation and going home from vacation. But I had already made the decision that I was going to move here before like we even started talking. And so one entire year went by from the day that I landed back in California and got to my house from that visit, deciding where I was going to move to the day that I got here, like moved back here. I had arrived back in March 16th of 2017, making the decision that I was going to move. And I knew that I needed to start working on moving, right? Like, what am I going to do? Like, what do I need to do? And I still had to get both of my surgeries. So I got both of the hand surgeries within that time. And one thing you guys will learn about me is that I'm often having conversations with God and telling him, okay, this is the deadline. If this cannot be done by this date, then I will not be able to do this. So if this is something you want for me to do, you need to get me an appointment by this date. And for my second hand surgery, I wasn't sure if I should do it. And I was talking to God, and I sat in front of the doctor's office and I said, Lord, if this is what you want me to do, you are going to get me scheduled for my hand surgery by the 28th of August, or that is your way of telling me that I'm not supposed to do it. I walked into the doctor's office and I was sitting back there. And the first time he gave me the appointment, he gave me dates, like options. This time he walked into the room and he said, oh, you have a surgery date. It's August 28th. And I said, okay. And that was confirmation from God telling me that it was something I needed to do. So I said, okay. So I did that. And then once all that was said and done, I landed back here in Texas. That drive should have only taken 2 days, but I was driving my Tahoe with my Mazda towed behind it. And we encountered some issues while I drove by myself from California here. And I encountered some issues on that drive. And it ended up taking longer. It ended up taking almost 4 days for me to get here. And I landed here on March 16th of 2018. That's the day that I pulled into the gas station across the street from the apartments that I moved into. And I was like, okay, everything happens for a reason. And it's been exactly 1 year to the day that I made the decision that I was going to start moving. And here we are. And then David and I never stopped talking from that date that we met. We would text and talk on the phone all the time. And he was like, when are you coming back? And I was like, well, I don't know, and it took us both a while to figure out that he misunderstood that I was going home and that I thought he knew I was there and he thought I was going on vacation to California. And then we just decided to do long distance for a while. And then here I am. And here we are. And it's been, 7 years that I've lived here. And we've been together for that year where we were just like long distance. He had a kitty named Blueberry. Oh, cute. Oh, hello, Dr. Bobby Ballard. Ballard? You're late joining. That's okay. That's okay. We're almost done here. I don't want to keep you guys much longer. I told you between 10 and 2. And I don't know why I gave a 2-hour window. In my head, I was giving an hour window. But it came out 2 hours. So here I am for 2 hours. And we're almost there. And again, you guys, I just want to thank you so much for being here. So much for giving of your time, being so generous with it, because 2 hours is a long time to spend just, listening or watching a live and comments and just being active in the conversation. And I really, really appreciate it. And we are going to wrap up so that you guys can go and have a lot of fun. And FYI, I always feel the need to explain I'm not a medical doctor. You don't have to be a medical doctor. My initials are DR. So often that's what I sign, right? DR. And people are like, oh, are you a doctor? I'm like, no, those are my initials. So, yeah. So, that's completely okay. You don't have to be a medical doctor. You could be, they could be your initials. They could be, you do it for fun. You could do it. I don't know. You just like the title. Trust me. I make reservations for an airline for a living. And there are many people who want to have a prefix to their names, and they'll be like, oh, I am Professor Charles Xavier. I'm like, if I was Charles Xavier, I'd be professor too. I have a PhD and I just don't want to be misleading. Oh, no. Hey, you worked hard on your PhD. I could never, girl, I have a GED and you have a PhD. Congratulations. You deserve to have that doctor in front of your name. I'm on a GLP-1 and that's why I'm here. Hey, I love any reason for you to be here. You just want to be here because I don't know, whatever reason, it's a great reason. And really, I'm very, very, very excited for you that you have gotten your PhD. That's amazing. I don't know anybody in real life. I mean, I know my doctors in real life and, but I don't know anybody in my own personal life, like personally know them who have a PhD. My brother wanted to be a doctor and I have a niece who wants to be a doctor and David's daughter actually wants to be a doctor. But yeah, none of them are yet. My brother has decided that he will no longer pursue his career of being a doctor because he wanted to work in epidemiology. And with the government cuts and all of this stuff, he is not sure how that future will go. So he is actually going to become a flight attendant. He starts on the 15th. So that's exciting. And like Dr. Dre. But yeah, yes, the government is very crazy right now, and it is a very scary thing to get into. So he has decided that it is not, because he's already even gotten some offers from some, 3-letter companies and or some 3-letter government agencies, and he was going through the process of his backgrounds and all of those things clearing, and suddenly they rescinded jobs. His job offers were rescinded for 2 different 3-letter government agencies, and he was devastated by that. And he said, I don't want to go into debt doing this and then not even be able to pay back that debt. So he changed his mind, and now he's going to be a flight attendant. He loves to travel. He gets to travel on my benefits, and he gets to see the world. And he was like, you know what? I can do that for a living. I can see the world for a living and be paid to do it and get paid very well. Flight attendants make very good money. And he's only 23. So, so now both my brothers and I will all be working for airlines. My little brother's going to work for a different airline for now, and he's going to keep trying to get into our airline. But until that can happen, he is going to be working for a different legacy airline in the US. So that's super exciting. And yeah, so I appreciate you guys so much. I don't want to take much more of your time because we've already gone over, but I really, really look forward to seeing you guys again. So I guess this is going to be our Saturdays, or this is going to be what I'm doing on Saturdays through the month of April. And then we will figure out what the next schedule will be for the month of what's next May. So if you guys have any suggestions, if you guys want me to go back to, 7 days a week lives, I already know, Mia, you like it. If you want me to go back to 7-day lives, if you want me to go back to, I'm not lives, 7 days a week videos, or 5 days a week videos, or the 3 times a week, whatever it is that you guys have talked to Delilah. Hey, don't ever think that I can't do it, because if I had the but tell your brother to look into PA school or nursing. He actually was looking into becoming a physician's assistant, and so is my niece now, because the doctors that she works for, they told her that she would be making the same amount of money being a physician's assistant and not have the same kind of debt. So she's looking into doing that now, but he has decided that the kind of doctor he wants to be, which is really just like a research doctor, he either wanted to be a neurological surgeon, or he wanted to go into epidemiology research as a doctor. But he says that with the way the government is going, he's over the rescinding of job offers, and he's afraid of it. So, but I just want to tell you guys, thank you so much for your time. I adore you all so much. You will never, ever, ever understand how much your support truly means to me. Thank you from the bottom of my little grubby heart. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys more than I can ever explain or express. And I just want to give you your digital ones. And remember, if you guys want our friendship bracelet, remember this is my gift to you, 150,000% of memory between me and you, that we're buddies. We're little pickles together. Andrea, I know you already have yours. But if you guys want a bracelet, I'm going to look up the measurements because I forget. I just need to know what size you want, medium or large. And it glows in the dark, you guys. It glows in the dark. Ask Andrea. She knows, because she sent me a picture the other day with it glowing in the dark, and I love it. So please, 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 if you guys are interested, send me an email. My email is always listed in the descriptions, but it is lifewithlalayt, which used to be my channel name, lifewithlalayt @gmail. I need your address, and if you want a medium or large, and I will get that out to you in the mail very, 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 very shortly. It will be next week. So I appreciate you all so much. And Andrea, you never take it off because you love your bracelet. Thank you. And it is my friendship bracelet with you, and we are best friends forever and ever. I will see you guys on Monday with the video that is going to be posted. And I really appreciate you guys. And hopefully we can do this again. Well, I'll be here on Saturday. Hopefully you'll be able to be here again on Saturday. And I really appreciate you all so very, very, very much. Those of you who have already sent the email, I will respond to you in a couple minutes after this is over. It does stretch a bit, so it does stretch a bit. Oh, yeah, it does. It is very stretchy. And again, for those of you who missed it, if you have hair like I do and are afraid it's going to get tangled in it, it doesn't. See, look, it doesn't. No hair. I mean, it's like kind of, see, but look, nothing. It does not pull your hair out, because that was one thing I was terrified it was going to do, because I've had bracelets in the past where you go like this and it gets stuck and then rips your hair out, and this doesn't. So if you guys want it, send me an email and I will be happy to send out my friendship bracelet to you, and it'll always be your little memento of us. And I adore you guys so much, and I will see you guys soon. Okay. I am Nydia. Just in case this wasn't clear, I will be here every Saturday through the month of April, and then we will figure out how we're going to do this for the month of May. But I adore you guys so very much. For real, for real, for real. You guys don't understand. My next video will be posted on Monday, and then the weigh-in video on Wednesday. And then Felicia, if you are still watching, please send me an email, and I will be more than happy to send you guys, you and your sister, a couple of coloring books so that you guys can get started on those coping skills. If she's not here and any of you guys speak with her like regularly or see her around, please let her know, because I would absolutely love to be able to do that for her and her sister, because I know what outpatient therapy is like, and it's scary. And yeah, and I would have loved to have that kind of support from my family who doesn't live here. So I didn't have that. Plus I never told them. Only David knew. And you guys know. But I adore you guys so much, and I will see you guys soon. Okay. Bye. And thank you guys so much for joining me on my first live. I'm not scared. I mean, I'm still scared of lives, but I'm not so much more scared of it anymore. But I love you guys so much, and I'll see you soon. Bye, Pickles. My little Pickles. I'm going to give you another digital hug, because we need hugs today. You guys have a great weekend, and I'll see you soon.